We're rolling. We're rolling right now, and we have 27 participants right now on our first ever team meeting for virtual Zoom for the Game Changers team. Like, what? Not only do you have 27 participants, check this out. Y'all just booked up 110 demos tonight.
Wow.
110 demos tonight. And before tonight, y'all had about 40. We have 150 appointments set up going into where what most people are freaking out that their businesses are shutting down. This coronavirus is taking over. People can't work anymore. Your friends are out of jobs. Restaurants are closing. Malls are closing. Disney World is closed. Busch Gardens is closed. Bars are closing down. And we're booking up 150 demos where y'all just, what? I am so proud of you. I am so proud of you because success in business and success in life is not about what happens to us. It's about how we respond. And I'm just super excited. I started our first session talking about this big business that overcame some obstacles really long time ago. And, we talked about this document and this piece of paper that this big business created. And I'll put my keynote up. Y'all can see my screen. Thumbs up. Yep. Thumbs up. Awesome. So we talked about in first session about this business that is started 240 years ago. And that business was called the United States of America, right? And they created a document called the Declaration of Independence. And these individuals came together, even though a lot of them hated each other. There was a lot of tension in that room, but they made a commitment that we're not leaving this room until we create something that can create freedom. And they said, every man created equal. That was with love thy neighbor. They talked about every man created equal. They talked about, let me mute some people. Some people are still making a lot of noise. So they talked about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. These are some of the things they talked about. This was a dream, a vision. My goodness. Let me mute. If you're not muted, if you could just mute yourself out, that'd be awesome. Right, that's Brenda. Awesome. Gotcha. Cool. I got the straggler. Thank you. All right. So they created this document to help people have something that they can, refer to when they're in time of crisis. What's interesting enough, 240 years later, we're still using that same document. So we created a mission statement for our business. See, I want you to write this down. If you're taking notes right now, I want you to write this down. Tragedy is a reminder of strength and moral decision-making. Anytime there's tragedy, it allows us, anytime there's challenge, it allows us to have a moment of opportunity. That's really what it comes down to. There's not many times in life where we get a chance to emerge as leaders, especially when it comes to your job. And as a team, tonight is a demonstration. That's what tonight was, a demonstration that we can rise above and lead everyone else that needs some sort of leadership right now. See, there's two types of, everyone has an opinion. Everyone has an opinion. You can get an opinion anywhere you go. But what I encourage you to seek is counsel. And when you have a mission statement, when you have a Declaration of Independence, when you have something you can rely on, when you have people above you to lead you, it's not opinions, it's counsel, it's wisdom. And that's what I want to share with you tonight. One of the things that showed up for me about anytime there's this pandemic right now, anytime there's a challenge or an obstacle, I refer back to 9/11. 9/11 was something that I remember. Some of you, I don't even know, some of you were born during 9/11, but I remember I was in lunch in high school, and there was an announcement made over the loudspeaker that said, there was a situation that happened in New York, because I was up in New Jersey. Many of your parents are coming to school to pick you up. That's all we knew. School ended early. We went home. My mom was watching the news, and we watched the plane crash into the one of the twin towers, and then the second plane crashed into the second tower. We saw them fall. Media coverage all over the place, and it was extremely sad. It was alarming. It was sad. We had a lot of friends that lost very close loved ones and family. And what was interesting that showed up during this time frame, though, is that there was more camaraderie. There was more community, more liberty. There was more flags, American flags waving than ever before. People loving on each other ever before. There was no such thing as racism during this time frame. Everyone was super, just loving and helpful during this time frame. And people came together as a community to look at that statement that was written 240 years ago to say, regardless of circumstance, we're still going to be united as one. And I think about what we stand for as a Game Changers unit is to grow personally, professionally, financially. That's what we are doing as leaders. That's what we're doing as sales representatives. You're not just selling Cutco. You are creating a positive experience for some people that need you the most. There are people freaking out right now that need your positive light, that need a positive distraction. So what I want you to understand is that some of your friends might say, this is a time where I'm just going to chill. Hey, online classes, meaning, hey, I could just hang out. I saw the audacity of a USF student post something in a group I'm in that says, I think we deserve a break on our grades due to this circumstance. Now, some of you might be like, yeah, that would be great. A break on my grades. The audacity of entitlement of I deserve this because of this circumstance blows my mind. That is not what we need. What we need is leaders to say, regardless of the circumstance, I'm going to hunker down and get really good grades in spite of the situation. I'm going to make phone calls if I don't feel like it in spite of this situation. I'm going to be a leader, and that's what this society needs right now, a positive distraction. There's two stories that you could tell yourself right now. It's like, I deserve this because of this circumstance. Or there's a story of like, I don't want to bother people. I don't want to be intrusive. The other story that you could tell yourself is, I want to inspire people. I want to have principles that people could say, you know what? I believe in that too. Because here's what I'll tell you, if you want to write this down. If you don't stand on principles, you will fall for others. You will fall for other people's principles. If you don't stand on your own, you're going to fall for other people's. And sometimes there are other people's principles, they are not standing on very strong foundation. They're standing on emotion. They're standing on entitlement. They're standing on what I deserve. What, this is what I'm entitled to, whatever it might be. So I just want you to seek counsel. Every meeting we talk about this, and now it's time for us to use it and put it into motion. Success is nothing more than few simple disciplines. School is online and oh my God, now it's more tough. So what? You just add a little bit more discipline each day and grow despite of the circumstance. What is failure? Simple neglects and judgment. Simple neglects, that's all it is. So how can you make sure that during this time frame, you're still making the small decisions? I chose not to go to the gym I've gone to the gym, by the way, every single week, 4 days a week, every single week since the new year. I've logged on MyFitnessPal. I'm 55 days in a row on MyFitnessPal that I've logged. I'm saying this because these are the small, simple disciplines that I made a commitment to do when I set my goals for myself. It's not like, oh my God, I'm doing great. I lost about 12 pounds. I'm making some moves. I worked my way up from less than 5 push-ups, and I was able to get to 22 push-ups in a row. So I'm getting stronger. I was able to do -1 push-up or pull-up chin-up, and I was able to do 5 chin-ups yesterday. I'm making my moves. I created a home workout. I put up a chin-up bar in my doorway. I got my little these little things I ordered online of these push-up panels. I got my yoga mat in here. I got my Bosu ball. I just ordered some dumbbells. It's just going to be some small disciplines and adjustments and flexibility, but I'm not going to compromise my goals that I set for myself. You think it's about selling knives. I'm talking about leadership, a leadership of yourself, leadership of those around you. If you have a problem in your life right now, great. We all do. We're dealing with it. It's only going to get more challenging, but you got to know what you can control and you can't control more now than ever. What can you control? You can control making phone calls. You can control calling your coach. You can control learning. You can control what you're feeding your mind. I would highly recommend keeping social media to a very small segment of time. I feel invigorated. I haven't looked at social media, like browsing and stuff. Like I haven't watched the news. Know what I'm doing? I'm reading books. I post some stuff. I just put some stuff out there, but I'm not really looking at much. And I just watched a documentary last night that was really invigorating. If you're interested, it was by Kyle Cease. Kyle Cease. Audrey and I listened to his podcast Monday, and I watched his documentary called it was something Beyond Money, like Life Beyond Money or something like that. But it was awesome. Just feeding my mind, feeding my spirit, giving myself stillness, giving myself permission to work on innovation. That's exciting for me right now. That could be exciting for you, regardless of the outcomes, regardless of the results, regardless of circumstance. Influence our beliefs. Know that you're capable. Know that you're responsible. What's responsible? Ability to respond. You're able to respond. Responsibility, ability to respond. Incapable, capable from within. Win the inner game. You will start believing you're fantastic. You will feel great. You'll take actions regardless of the results. You still influence your beliefs every day. We talk about this every single day. Our goals as a district team will not change despite this circumstance. We're still going to go out and chase down silver cups. We're still going to do great things as an organization, and we're going to lead this freaking country and this vector marketing organization along with our freaking country of young people. We're going to lead them through this because that's what we're capable of doing. That's what I'm capable of doing. We're currently number 1 in sales in one category. We jumped to number 2 in sales in the other category, and we're just doing our thing. You are doing your thing. Leaders lead. We were in the March Madness tournament. And I say we're. I know we talked about 2 years ago how we won the tournament and we're fired up to win again. And we're like, yeah, we're going to do this thing. We're fired up. Well, Amir Habash's team was also really fired up. And they beat us by $600 last week. 600 bones. 600.
That's disappointing.
$100. If you're listening to this, do you think you could have sold maybe just a smidge more? I don't know. I don't know if there was just a smidge, right? But either way, it was fun. We got to the Elite 8. We did a good job. They just got us last week. They got us last week. Our goal was to sell 20K as a team. We got to 26,000. Check out the individuals making a move. Audrey, Faith, Joel getting that first promotion knocked out. Faith getting that promotion knocked out. Kayla getting that promotion knocked out. Kendrick is almost at that second promotion. Hey, even I sent some emails. I sent some text messages. I told my staff I'm going to do my part, and I did an ultimate upgrade. That was pretty fun. I'm actually working with another customer right now, trying to get another grand order in. We'll see if I can lock that down too. I'm doing what I can to help our team make it through this. Check out your 2 assistant managers though, Audrey Cruz and Jessica Sheynin, top 150 in the entire country right now. I mean, if you're not excited and proud of your leadership team, I really hope you understand you're working with some of the best young people in the entire Vector universe right now, while running interviews, while training for summer, while taking full-time classes, still getting over to the top 150 Cutco students in all of North America. Great job, ladies. Here's what I love about Vector marketing. Despite of the circumstance, we still had representatives sell check this out. Over $28,000 last week, number 1 in the country. Crazy. New representatives, 7,600. All it took for nationals last week was $3,600. So for those of you that are competitive, hey, why not? This is your time. Reap it. Go for it. Let's do it. The team is doing well. Our company is still thriving. Businesses some businesses are struggling, but we are equipped to handle this. Big paychecks last week, making money. 30 to 90 to over $100 to $200 a demo. If you're not fired up about making more than $18, please let us get you there. Jessica is going to talk to you here in just a moment about how you can really level up during this time frame and why do you want to really level up during this time frame. Amanda is now almost at $6,000 saved Audrey's over $4,000 in her withholdings. Jess, $2,600 withholdings. This is just extra savings. People are saving money, building wealth. Check out our top individuals for the division for the campaign to date. Eric, number 25 at $4,700 right now. Way to go, Eric. Taking up to Alexis is in the top 25 at $5,400. Cassidy Sanborn just under $6K. Very exciting. You got Amanda in there. We got Adriana in there. We got Kat, Audrey Cruz, Jessica Sheynin, doing a great job. And then our CSP team. So if you haven't checked out Ace Weekly Podcast, I highly recommend you to listen to him. Feed your mind with their division manager, Ace Weekly. It's on all the platforms. I highly recommend you to check it out. We had several of you hit your first promotions this week, as we recognized already. Kudos to all of you. Check out some of you and how close you are to those next promotions. Whoops. So I can't see my mouse. There we go. So how close we are to those next promotions. Jeff, Kendrick, $16, dude. What are you doing, man? $16. Get that knocked out, bro. Cassidy Sanborn, 506. Ashley, 729. Waylon, 490. Thomas, 510. Really making some moves. Kevin, 321. And Alexis, just under $2,000 away from getting bonus land. You could see it from there. Tier 1,300 away. Who's going to hit it? Who's going to get their picture next to Jessica? Tiara or Alexis? I don't know. It's good. We're going to see because Jess gets the next picture. So we're going to see who gets that next photo on the bonus land wall. It's fun. Fun competition is always cool. The March Madness final standings came in, and these are all the winners of our March Madness contest. You know, you had to get over 1,500 to win your favorite piece and $3K for some divisional swag. And we had all of these individuals over $1,500. So Amanda, Eric, Kendrick, Audrey, Tiara, Kat, Alexis, Cassidy, and AJ. Y'all want to send me, send me a WhatsApp message today or, sometime in the next day or two. Send me with what one piece of Cutco you want to get. Something in that. Usually it's supposed to be at $125 range, but I'll give you to $175, $200 if you really need to, but pick an item that you're like under $200, $150, so in that range that you think can help you make more sales on your appointments. Whatever you want, just one individual item, and then send that over to me, and I'll place that order for you, and I'll get it sent out. Competition is heating up, baby. Competition is heating up. So we got Tyree and Kendrick up against Dylan Fitz. If there was ever a week that you could take down Dylan Fitz, this is the week. And the reason why is because he's only working from his cell phone. He doesn't have an event. So if you were ever going to take out Dylan, Kendrick, this would be the opportunity to do so. So pretty exciting stuff. You can see Audrey up against Kat, sisterhood, the battle of the 40K shippers. That's going to be a fun little competition there. Jessica and Joel up against Eric, the roommate, the battle of the roommates, baby. The battle of the roommates is going down. And Emily and Alexis. Alexis, you were ranked what were you ranked? Number 11. That's kind of underdogish. You could go to this Final Four. You already got $50 in Cutco. That'd be so sick. Next round to see, and then maybe seeing Dylan or Audrey in the championship. I mean, I don't know. It's going to be fun to see how this unfolds. And you can see the number one champion wins a VIP night with their team. So if Jessica wins, Jessica, Joel, and myself, we're going a little VIP experience. If, Tyree wins, Kendrick and Tyree are going. But if it's just Alexis, hey, girl, we're about to have a really badass meal. It's about to be an exciting meal. Now, granted, we might have to figure out how that's going to work. It might be over Zoom, and we, send you a really delicious, meal to your house, and we'll have a conversation over Zoom. But we'll see how the pandemic goes. But either way, it's going to be really fun experience to finish off. So I want to switch gears. Our 2020 goals. What we're working towards as a team. That what we're building right now as an organization. We have lots of positions to fill, lots of exciting roles to take on during the summertime, and what we're really looking for. I had conversations with many of you this early this week about consistent selling and team building and being a positive role model. We showed you the list of individuals last week and who's in contention for some of these roles and some of these advancement opportunities. What I wanted to do though, is I wanted to turn things over to Jessica. And the reason why is because I know Jess has been doing a fantastic job behind the scenes, working behind the scenes, selling. And I wanted Jess to offer some of her thoughts from her lens. And then I'll come back, and before we wrap up, I'll give you some virtual demo tips to help you with your business this weekend. And I'll wrap up with a couple of upcoming events and some FYIs. But I wanted Jessica to share with you, top 150 student in the country right now, number 10 student in the fall, $35,000+ in Cutco sales, in the Elite Eight in our March Madness tournament. I wanted her to share from your lens. You heard from Amanda last week, why she's excited about her 4-year summer experience and what's been going on for her. But you have Jessica, who just started in September. I would have pen and paper. And what I invite each of you to think about and take notes of while Jess is talking right now is, what if Mike asked you to give this talk next week? What if Mike asked, if I'm Ashley and I'm like, what if Mike asked Ashley to give a talk next week of what she's most excited about for her future? Or Alexis to share her wisdom on why she's most excited about and what she's fired up about. Like, what if I asked you next week to share your thoughts? I would take notes and answer some of the questions that maybe Jess might pose to you of why you're doing this and why she's doing this and what's exciting for you. So Jessica Sheynin, figure skating all-star, Cutco all-star, we're rocking out in our academics all-star, just overall, just one of the most impressive young people that I've had a chance to work with. I'm going to pass things over to you, Jess. Jess, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
All right, stage is.
All right, hi guys. So Mike asked me to give this talk to talk to you a little bit a background about Jess and what I'm most excited for this summer and for next summer. So just a little background. You guys have seen me perform at this job in Cutco, and you can tell I'm pretty competitive and I don't really settle for anything less than number one. And that's kind of how I've been my whole life. I was a competitive figure skater. I graduated high school with a 3.9 unweighted GPA. I was very involved in school, still had a social life. And I held various jobs through high school. There was a time where I was working 3 jobs while skating, while studying. And that's kind of always been my personality. Now, what's really funny is that when Mike met me, he didn't know this, but I had never felt like I set a goal and really reached what I wanted to do. I'd impressed people, I'd impressed myself, but I've always set really high goals for myself and never really pushed until the end of those. I would get like 75% through and then say, that's good enough. That looks impressive. People would say that I really tried for that and never really got to that end result. So I worked as a receptionist. I worked front desk. I even worked in this really sketchy candy hearts factory. If you're curious about that, you can ask me sometime. But I worked all these jobs just to make some cash on the side, but wanted something a little bit more challenging. I wanted something that really pushed me, something I felt like was expanding my capacity. So what happened is I started working for Vector. I started selling Cutco, and I had a pretty decent fast start. I did about $7,500 for my fast start, which some of you guys are like, whoa, that's way more than I did. That's impressive. But for me, I wanted to do 10K and I didn't. And I knew that I could have done just a little bit more to get to that 10K, and it crushed me a little inside. And what I liked right off the bat was that Mike congratulated me on my 7.5K for sure. But the last couple hours of my fast start, he was like, what can we do to get you to reach your goal? And nobody has ever asked me that before. Everyone was always just impressed and let it go at that. So that's kind of when I started getting into this whole, wow, what is this really about? What can this look like for me? And then the Olean push came. And I think that this is a very relevant story based on what's going on right now. During the Olean push, my goal was to sell 5K around my classes, and I got appendicitis in the middle of my push. I was in the hospital for 3 out of like 12 days the push was. And if you want to talk about excuses, that is definitely an excuse. It would have been okay for me to say, I'm in the hospital. I literally had an organ taken out. I don't want to push anymore. I did good enough. But instead, I got home, I was recovering, I had my laptop with me, and kind of like what's happening now, what else is there really to do? So I said, instead of laying in bed and watching Netflix and doing all this stuff that sounded really nice and lazy, I would commit to something. I said I was gonna sell 5K, and I will. So I sat in my bed, recovering from my surgery, doing virtual demos until I hit my goal, which I hit 10 minutes before the deadline. And I finally set a goal and reached it. And that feeling, that's the time when I decided that this is something that I really need to pursue a little bit more, just because it's the first thing that pushed me to expand my capacity. If I could sell 5K having appendicitis, you think I'm scared when there's this virus going around and I can only do virtuals? That doesn't scare me. That just means that I just have to work a little bit harder, try a little harder, make a couple more phone calls. So going on from that, I decided that I would try to be an AM. So I'm a business management major. I love people. I love working and managing people. And I told Mike that pretty early on, that that's something I was really interested in doing, is getting just behind the scenes and being able to give people the same opportunity that I was given. So what I'm excited for this summer is to be an assistant manager, pretty full time. I still want to sell about 30K over the summer. And what I love about that is that I see people who I coached, who I worked with or had a conversation with, and they give me all sorts of excuses. You guys are really good at that. I give Mike excuses all the time. So, but what I love the most is when I just frame the position or your job in a way that gets you to just push a little bit harder, and then the reward comes out of it. And a lot of you guys are like, wow, Jess, you were right. I'm like, yeah, I know. It is rewarding. It's nice when you have those no sales and then, end that no sales streak off with like a signature set, or you hit your first promotion. And that's the most exciting thing for me. I'm really not that money motivated. I like to pay my bills and have money on the side. But what motivates me the most is experience and being able to influence other people. So going on from there, I know you guys have heard about, the Cutco through college, be an AM, be a branch manager, etc. But what's really exciting for me is that I'm treating this assistant manager summer like it's my own branch. I told Mike I'm fully committed to treating this like it's my own branch, really giving it my all. And I'm really determined to be able to go into summer of 2021 and run an amazing branch, push myself even harder. And it's funny because I had a combo with somebody who works in a different office that I met on a trip in Jamaica. And she was like, yeah, like, what's your goal for your branch summer? I was like, oh, I'm gonna be the #1 branch. Like, there's no doubt about it. Like, that's what I'm doing. There's no way that I'm gonna settle for less. And it's not even about reaching that goal. It's about those small actions daily. So today I woke up, I didn't want to fill out my spreadsheet. And I told Mike I would add 50 people to it. And it was like painful. I was like, I don't want to type in the names, I'm done. But I made it to my 50 and that was it. And I did it and I said I would. And that's a lot of what you're gonna run into, not only with this job, but in life. There's a lot of times where it is so much easier to sit and not do anything. It is so much easier to make excuses. There's this virus and everyone's freaking out. Nobody wants to take my phone calls. I'm sure your neighbors who are quarantined wouldn't mind doing a presentation. They're walking their dogs outside. I'm sure those moms who you've been calling for 3 months who were telling you that they were too busy are now sitting at home waiting for your phone call. Do you guys get what I'm saying? Like, it's all stories that you're making up in your head. It's all excuses that you're putting in front of yourself. If you're not reaching your goals, the only reason why is because you are in your own way. You are standing in your own way. And the faster you realize that it's not anything external, it's all internal, the faster it will be for you to recover. You guys see my picture on the wall, and sometimes I'm like really high on the sales report, but what you don't see is me breaking down in tears before I hit my 20K promotion, because I had 11 no sales in a row. 11 in a row. And I knew that I just had to keep going. I just had to keep trying. I was calling Andrew, who's my coach at the time, like crying on the phone to him, like, I don't know if I can do this. This is really painful. And he was like, just go to the next one. Just do the next one. Don't even worry about it. Just do the next one. And I ended that streak off with a signature set. And after that, guess how many sales I had after those 11 no sales? I had 15 sales in a row before my next no sale. I had 15. That just means that when you think it's over, you're just starting. That's just when it's starting. So I challenge you to take on the mindset that it's you. It's you. It sucks to say, but you're the problem. You're standing in your own way. So really sit and reflect on those small things you could be doing every day that could be the difference between working at McDonald's at 25 years old or having your own business, having invested in properties, graduating with no debt and thousands of dollars in savings. The difference between those two people are small actions daily that these people decided to take, that these people were too lazy to or made excuses about. So that's really all I have to say. This position just gives me the opportunity to push a little bit harder, surround myself with people who don't let me settle. I called Audrey the other day off a no sale and was feeling pretty sorry for myself. And she was like, we don't do that here. We do not do that here. And that's what I do when other AMs call me too, or people on the team. I'm like, that's cool. It sucks, but let's move on. Eric's sitting right next to me. He's like, yeah, you're tough. You definitely don't cry with me. So that's the thing I like most about the opportunities that we have here at Vector, is just pushing yourself to that next limit. And being an assistant manager is what it means to you. It's whichever goals you want to accomplish in your life. It's how can this be a vehicle to help you get there? How can running a branch help me be a better mom, a better business owner in the future? Have a family. That's a lot of responsibility. So what actions can I take now that will set me up to be successful in those things when it's time? So that's really all I have to say. Thank you, Mike, for giving me the platform to, do my little speech.
Well, I love giving you the platform, Jess, because you've earned it. And I see a couple of head nods going as you're speaking, because I think many people could relate to what you just said, specifically that, the past doesn't equal your future if you choose to learn from it and if you choose to grow. That's theme number one that I get from that. Number two, that I feel like some people can, that they absorbed during your message right now, is act as if. Act as if. You said, I'm acting as if I'm running my own branch and I'm just rolling with it right now. So you want to be a physician assistant, you want to run your own physical therapy practice, you want to be a doctor, you want to, be an attorney, you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to run multiple streams of income, you fill in the blank. Well, act as if you're doing that now. Act as if. I love that. I love that concept. I also love what you said, small actions daily, even if I don't feel like it. I didn't feel like updating my spreadsheet, but I did it anyway. I didn't feel like recording an 1.5-hour virtual demo workshop for all you fools. I didn't feel like doing that stuff. I already know how to do a virtual demo, but I did. And that shit's going to go out to the whole company. I didn't feel like, speaking to the whole region today on, topics that I'm already an expert in. And I'm like, man, I got to go freaking prepare a speech for something I already know. But I did because That's what leaders do. Leaders lead. Leaders lead. And that's why I love the hashtag SAD, small actions daily. It's not a lot. It's sad. It's actually sad. It's small actions daily, but it's super effective. So I think those are 3 great points. And at the end of this meeting, I'd love for everyone to post your biggest takeaways as well. So let me go ahead and screen share before we wrap up a couple FYIs. Number 1 is next Wednesday night, you're going to want to make sure we do that jam, ahead of time, because from 6 to 11, I believe the time shifted, if I'm not mistaken, to 5. Let me just double check. I think there was something, the agenda, it is not, yeah, it is 6 to 11. Cool. 6 to 11. By the way, at 6 o'clock, Damian Scott, who is the #1 manager in virtual demos, he's actually going to be a guest speaker. So they adjusted the agenda just a smidge to give him a spot on the agenda talking about virtual demo success next Wednesday night. So there's going to be topics on maintaining a high average order, selling as a student, handling objections, high performance phoning. So these are some of the topics you're definitely going to want to have your phone jam done beforehand, so that way we could open up the time next Wednesday night for this. So if your demos are booked, we'll have you join. If your demos aren't booked, then we'll have you jam. Just something to keep in mind. Next thing is making sure that you introduce this new product to your customers. If you have people that bought Cutco from you in the past, but maybe they want some frying pans, these are easy $100 orders that you can sell. Each frying pan's like $100, and it's exclusive. It is new. It's fresh. It could be worth mentioning to your customers. P&J we did. So those are a couple FYIs. Let me go ahead and share with you a couple of quick tips for your virtual demos. So on your virtual demos, let's before me, maybe you don't actually need to hear from me, because I'm going to share some of these videos. Let's open it up. What are some things that are working? What are some best practices? We got a little less than 6 minutes or so. What's working right now? What's working right now in your business? Who has something that they could share? Whether it's to create appointments. I'd like to hear from Kayla, because she has double-digit appointments ahead of her right now. So I'd be curious of what's working for Kayla on how she has double-digit appointments ahead of her right now. I'd be curious to hear from, I don't know who's having some success with some results. I'd like to hear from AJ. AJ had a 2K week last week. I'd like to hear from AJ to see what's working for him on how he's getting some of the larger orders right now. How is he averaging about $1,000 average order, $800 average order? I'd be curious to hear from him right now. Why don't we start there? Let's start with those two. And then, maybe Audrey, I know Audrey, you've been consistently over $500 each week. Maybe you have some light to shed on some of us as well. And then maybe Eric finished off a virtual sale on Monday at midnight, just to make sure that he beat Caitlin and Amanda. So maybe you have a thought or two on, finishing off the sales week strong with the Magic Monday. I know Diana did the same thing, hit her first promotion with finishing off, some cool things. So let's open it up. So why don't we go in that order? Kayla, why don't you start? Give us your best practices on how to create double-digit appointments. AJ, best tip or two on how to create larger orders. Audrey, best tip on if anybody would just want to stay consistent, at least get to $500 a week. Maybe Eric, Diana, something that's showing up for you that's helping you finish off strong. Even maybe you feel behind, but still staying persistent. Let's go around the horn. What's showing up?
So I like to say, smile through the phone, when you're on the phone with someone, act excited, don't sound like you're just reading off, your manual. Sound like you're actually engaged. And that goes hand in hand with building rapport. Sound interested. When you ask Miss Jones, how are you doing? Don't just be oh, how are you doing? Sound passionate about it. And people get excited, especially when they haven't heard from you in a while and you seem excited to talk to them. And then before you know it, they want to see you and you already have it booked.
Nice. So smile through it. I think that's a great, simple advice. Let's go to AJ, and then I'd like to hear from Kendrick. Kendrick, your average order is pretty solid right now too. You've had the last 4 orders you've had have been for about $3,000. So 4 orders for about $3,000. So pretty solid average order. But AJ and Kendrick, on average order, what shows up for you?
What do you, like? What do you mean? Like, what happens for our average? Like,
No. Like when people are buying from you, you're selling sets, or most of your sales are you are over $500. Anything that's showing up for you that you can offer as a tip or a best practice to help people on this Zoom get over $500 every time they make a sale, on average.
well, with me, because I've had a lot of people like tell me throughout my life, like my aunt, she sells to like banks and she sells like insurance. She told my mom like that I would be able to work for her and like stuff like that. So I think it's like with me, it's mostly like my confidence and personality. Like I try to make like the customer laugh and stuff like that, and
So
just
it's it's only unique to you. Nobody else can replicate what you got.
no. I'm saying yeah, of course. I just
I'm
just to
teasing.
have
I'm
confidence
teasing.
and
Kendrick
understand,
also
like,
calls in every single time he's on a demo.
yeah, I'm still trying to work on finishing a deal, so I obviously still need some help, but it'll get better over time. But yeah, like I just feel like the product sells itself, and so you should just work on selling you and work it like what I took is in find out what the customer wants instead of selling for yourself.
So sell for the customer. Cutco's awesome. Call your coach to help you lock down a deal, and have confidence that everyone buys knives. I think those are
Yes.
great tips. I think those are replicatable tips. And be as confident and as cool as Kendrick at some point in your life. I think those were. That was, geez. AJ, let's go to AJ. AJ, and then we'll go to Eric, and then Diana, and then we'll see what we'll finish up with Audrey, and then we'll see if anything else shows up in these last couple of minutes. So AJ, you're muted.
Hey, you guys hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Mike. The biggest tip that I can offer right now, which has been a game changer so far, is some advice Amanda gave me earlier on the phone. Is when you start to compare the prices between the Woostop and Shun. When you compare the prices and you mention the Woostop price of, you say the whole amount of numbers. So you say $3,435, and maybe on a Black Friday you could get it for $2,999. I forgot what the prices were. But when you go mention the Cutco, when you go mention our homemaker set, it's only $1,346. Or another way to look at it, it's only $287 a month. When you say like that, $1,367, it sounds a lot cheaper than $3,435. When you get to the Shun, you say $4,435, and maybe on a Black Friday you could get it for $2,800. It just sounds a lot better when, and then you get to the signature set, and then the signature set is only $23.35 today, and that's I forgot how much a month, like $317 a month. So I mean that's ever since Amanda told me that, it's just I could see in the reaction like, wow, okay, this is a good deal. This is something I'm interested in, and that's actually how it helped me sell my first homemaker. So that's
Love
the
it.
biggest tip I got you.
Love it, AJ. So communicate with your coach again. I think that's a theme there too. Make sure you're saying the numbers to make the competitor sound large. And when you say the price of Cutco, it's like so small. It's like, isn't that cool? Isn't that awesome? Do you see why everyone gets this? So make the numbers sound really small when you talk about Cutco, and very doable. I love it. Very simple piece of advice. We'll go, Eric, what helped you finish strong? What had you have the motivation on 11 o'clock on a Monday to get that order in to beat Caitlin and Amanda?
Well, I had the order preset, okay? So the motivation was just to take her out because, like, she actually was talking to Jess and she was like, oh, you didn't sell anything? I was like, yeah, you beat me. But this order was already there. I just prolonged it. But the motivation of just taking her out was for sure what, like, pushed me through. I'm very competitive. But like what I would say is the best thing is build rapport. I watched since everyone's going virtual right now, or mainly, I watched one of Alexis's demos, and she literally like on a clock, she's building rapport 10 to 20 minutes. It's not like, oh, 10 to 20 minutes. Like it's literally 10 to 20 minutes. How are you? How's life? Oh, you don't know me. I'm loving what I'm studying. Like get to know your customer, be their friend. You know, you're about to spend 45 minutes with them on the phone. They don't want to feel like they're with a salesperson. They want to feel like they're with a friend. So I would say build a rapport.
Great advice. So have some sort of competition. Competition is good. By the way, competition comes from Latin. That means conspire with or conspire together. So that way we both win. It's not I win, you lose. It's that we both get better through competition, just so that way you all know where that's rooted from. Diana, we'll go Diana, and then Audrey will wrap up. Diana, you had a breakthrough. You finally cracked through that first promotion. Well, first off, how's that feel? Second, what can you share to anyone that maybe hasn't had the success they wanted, but they're staying persistent?
It feels great, to be honest. And the talk we had yesterday really helped me like gain my confidence. I would say the big thing is you have to like have enthusiasm. And like we know the knives are great. You just have to convince them like they're gonna use them every day, no matter like what they're doing. So the phone order I had, like I was like, it was already like, oh, I'm gonna buy it, but not just like right now. So I called and I was like, I know you love to barbecue. I know you're gonna use these knives. They're great for this, 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 and that's how I got it.
So bring in a level of enthusiasm, a level of confidence, a level of excitement. Have a conversation with a coach before you do a demo. Seems like there's a common theme there as well. Excellent. Audrey, why don't you offer some wisdom? I know also, actually, before Audrey, Davis, are you still with us? Yeah, Davis just locked in like a $500 sale, putting him pretty close to the next promotion. I know your average order has been climbing recently. You know, you've had multiple $500+ average orders. Anything that you can share with the team that's been helping you have multiple $500+ average orders? Can you hear us? I can't hear you though. All right, we'll go back to Davis. Audrey, why don't you go and share? What's helping you stay consistent, $500 to $1,000 a week? And then I'll wrap up.
Okay, so first of all, customers know that I'm calling. They're expecting my call because I always send out a heads up text at the end of my appointments. So if you haven't been doing that, you should be doing that. Secondly, the people that I'm seeing are typically, pretty qualified to own Cutco. I try to see a MAC customer if possible. I mean, I built up my rec list, so it's pretty big. So I'm able to focus on those most qualified customers, married between the ages of 30 and 60, own a home, have kids. And each week, I stay booked 5 to 10 demos a week. And as long as those are with qualified customers, I'm at least going to sell between 500 to 15 grand or $1,500. And then I know a lot of people are getting cancellations, like a ton of rescheduling, which I'm just seeing on the stats chats all the time. So I'm also, you want to make sure you're doing a really, really good firm up at the end of your the phone script. That way you actually have demos to complete each week.
Yeah.
So those are some things that keep me consistent.
So if you could share in the group chat the text message that you send to your customers, or you send to the heads up, I'm sure some people would love that. I think that's a great piece of advice to help phone time a little bit more efficient. Jess, you have a hand up?
Yeah, sorry, Audrey didn't mention this, but I think it's really important to point out because she told me this, and maybe she forgot, but she's been seeing husbands and wives together. She's been getting them together at home, and I think that that's huge. I just wanted to make sure that maybe she forgot, but that everyone understood.
Yeah, husbands, wives together. I think it's a great piece of advice too. Davis, are you active with
Yeah.
us?
Can you hear me?
Yep, go for it, and then I'm going to wrap up.
No, honestly, what you basically would want to do is, those customers that go ahead and tell you, hey, I don't want to go ahead and purchase anything at the moment, maybe later on, despite of the fact that you may have a no sell at the moment, make sure you reach out to them in the future. So the client that I just had, she went ahead, like I spoke to her about a month or two ago,
And she was like, oh, no, at the moment, I can't right now. Give me a call later on. And honestly, I gave her a call about yesterday, and today she went ahead and texted me. And she was like, hey, can I go ahead and make an order right now? And I was like, oh, sure. And I know it was during the phone jam and everything, but I was like, let me just go ahead and quickly do it real quick as we were doing the phone jam. And that's pretty much it, honestly. Just don't forget about those people that, want to have a purchase later on in the future. Make sure you have them down and, call them, like, maybe not this week, but later on in the following week, just to remind them and, just be on top of them. Just be on top. That's it.
Yeah, that's a great reminder. You have some people, you don't have to give up on them. And, we can follow up with people that were no sales. I think that's a great piece of advice. Here's what I will tell you. And if you forget anything from that's about to come out of my mouth, please write this down. I know this is going to contradict everything Davis just said, but I want you to write this down. Not now means never. And I know it contradicts everything that Davis just said, but I want you to get in the habit of changing. I see a couple of you post pending order, like sale is pending in the group chat. That's a 0. I don't want to see pending anymore. That's a 0. That is a goose egg until you follow up with them and then get that sale. There's no such thing as a pending order. It is a 0 at that moment. And I want you to start owning those zeros. So I want to leave you with this. Own your wins and own your losses. Learn from the losses, but that pending stuff, that call me back later, follow up with me at another time, that is way too much work. That is way too much work for you to do. You do not want to have to do the same thing twice. Like, I love that Davis is willing to follow up on these people. I love that. You're just do an effective presentation the first time. There's no need to interrupt your phone jam 2 weeks later to lock down that order if you just did it effective the first time. So here's what I want to leave you with. How do you get the yes today? How do you get the yes today? Because that's what or the decision. Get a no today. I'd rather you get a no today than a pending for later. So how do you get the yes today? Now, this is what I'm going to leave you with, okay? Maybe you want to write this down. Maybe you just want to, just have this as a mental note. You say in the very, very, very beginning of your presentation, you say, Ms. Jones, like I said on the phone, you do not have to buy anything at all. Hide your credit cards, hide your wallet. You don't need to get anything. I'm paid to do the appointment. I'm going to warn you, you're going to fall in love with some things. I'm going to warn you, you're going to fall in love with some things. And when that happens, all I ask you to do is make the decision today, because I have this contest I'm working towards and I could give you the best discounts now. So I promise you're going to fall in love with stuff. And if you're going to get some stuff, all I ask you to do is make the decision today. Because of my contest, I can give you the best discounts now. So you're giving them permission in the beginning to have an open mind. When you get to the 15-day guarantee, okay, the 15-day guarantee, the 3-week trial period, you say, this is very important. You say, Miss Jones, now that you saw the guarantee and you saw Cutco, I know you probably didn't plan on falling in love with it, but when you love Cutco, you don't have to make a final decision today on what you want to own for 50 years. The only decision you're going to make today is what you want to try out for a couple of weeks to make sure you love it. So the only decision you're making today is what you want to try out for a couple of weeks to make sure you love it. Very important that you hit it in the beginning, and then you hit it in the 3-week guarantee. Then when you close and you ask her for the sale, you say, so Ms. Jones, do you want to go and get that today? Stop saying that. Say, Ms. Jones, did you want to try that out today for the next couple of weeks to make sure it's the right set for you? Did you want to go ahead and put down your fully refundable deposit today so you can try it out for the next couple of weeks to make sure that that's the best set for you? If they're unsure, no problem. Let me show you a smaller option that might be better for you to try out for the next couple of weeks to make sure that's a better set for you. it's a lot easier to say yes to trying something than to yes forever. It's a lot easier to say yes to dating someone than it is to saying yes, marry me. So make it easy for them to say yes today. The three parts in the very beginning: create an open mind, the 3-week trial period, and when you ask them for the sale, do you want to go and try that out today with a small deposit, just to make your decision very easy for you to try it out. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time. Thank you for your efforts. Thank you for everything that you are doing. You're making me look good. And I love that, but I have so much love for all of you, for what we are standing for as an organization. A lot of eyes are on us right now to lead the way, to pave the way for leaders. And it's just an honor to have you as a part of our Game Changers team. So if there's anything I could do to support you, please let me know. Go ahead and post your biggest light bulbs into the Game Changer chat, and also a 2-hour window. Myself, Jessica, or Amanda, the three of us are going to be tag teaming coaching tomorrow. So give us a 2-hour window where any one of us could reach out to you just to support you for the back half of the week. So have a great night. I'll stick around for a couple extra minutes. Just post your biggest takeaways from tonight and your 2-hour gap for tomorrow for us to have a follow-up conversation for maybe 5 or 6 minutes from this meeting. So as soon as you push your light bulbs, you're good to go. Have a fantastic night.